Good morning, dear students. We are going to discuss like the contents of orbit, among which we have extraocular muscles which are surrounding the eyeball. So as you can see in this picture, you are able to see the eyeball. The black part of the eyeball is actually the cornea. We have the cornea is basically transparent. Behind the cornea, we have iris with pigments which gives different discoloration to the eye. So then this area is sclera, which is white in color. The junction of cornea and sclera is actually called as sclerocorneal junction, also called as limbus. Okay. In order to move this eyeball in different directions, we have muscles surrounding the eyeball, which are called as extraocular muscles. So the extraocular muscles, if they are situated above, you call it as superior rectus. The muscle which is situated below is inferior rectus. And the one, as you can see, this is right eye. The one which is near to the midline, you call it as medial rectus, and away from midline, we have lateral rectus. Apart from the recti, we also have two oblique muscles like superior oblique and inferior oblique. As we have done the norma frontalis, if you remember, we have studied like this is orbit. We have different boundaries of the orbit, like it has roof. Okay, the roof, what is shown in this violet color is the frontal bone. Okay, then this is the floor of the orbit where we have like maxillary bone, zygomatic bone, isn't it? Then we have medial wall, then we have lateral wall. So between like the greater and lesser wing of the sphenoid bones, we have the superior orbital fissure. We have optic canal, which gives passage to the optic nerve. Like that, various bones we have seen forming the boundaries of orbit. So we have, like, overall, to summarize, we have roof, we have floor, we have medial wall, and then we have lateral wall in the orbit. Okay. Then overall, when you see the contents of orbit, the eyeball contents are, first we have like the orbit contents are, we have eyeball. The fascia which is covering the orbit is called as fascia bulbi. We have muscles surrounding the eyeball, which is actually helping in the movement of eyeball. You call them as extraocular muscles. We have blood vessels which are supplying the eyeball and muscles surrounding. We call them as muscles of like vessels coming from internal carotid arteries branch, that is ophthalmic artery. We have cranial nerves supplying all these muscles. Okay. So, and on the superolateral corner, usually we see a gland which we have already discussed in detail, that is lacrimal gland, and lot of fat will be there when you do dissection, that is orbital fat. Okay. Now the extraocular muscles we have, so that means you can see this is the eyeball here. We have different like ocular muscles. The extraocular muscles have been classified like voluntary muscles and involuntary muscles. Under voluntary muscles, we have levator palpebrae superioris. Then we have recti muscles like superior rectus, inferior rectus, medial and lateral rectus. We have oblique muscles like superior oblique, inferior oblique. We have involuntary muscles like superior tarsal muscle, inferior tarsal muscle, and orbitalis muscles. Okay. Now, if you just take a look inside the orbit, most posterior to the apex of the orbit, there is a ring which is called as annulus of Zinn. Common tendinous ring of Zinn also it is called as. So this is the place from where you are finding all the four recti: superior rectus, inferior rectus, medial rectus, and lateral rectus. They are taking their origin from common tendinous ring of Zinn, and it forms a muscle cone. Okay. So you can see here, this is the common tendinous ring of Zinn, where we have like superiorly superior rectus, inferiorly inferior rectus. Near to the midline, origin of medial rectus. Away from the midline, we have origin of lateral rectus. Okay. Then extrinsic muscles of the eyeball, as we have just seen the list, they are actually involved in the movement of eyeball. We also have intrinsic muscles like which control the shape of lens and also size of pupil. Now, the intrinsic muscles are the muscles which are seen in the iris, which control the center of the iris will have an opening which is called as pupil. Pupil actually controls the amount of light which is entering into the eyeball and falling on the retina, isn't it? So we have sphincter muscles surrounding the pupil. So this is iris sphincter. Okay, so we have radial pupillodilator muscles, we have ciliary muscles. Okay, so all these muscles actually when they contract, they cause pupillary constriction, and when they relax, they cause pupillary dilatation. So this is all under the control of autonomic nervous system. So overall, just give the list of these muscles. Involuntary muscles, we have superior dorsal, inferior dorsal, and orbitalis. Voluntary, which I told you the list. Now, when you just know, like, we are also doing embryology, right? So basically the extraocular muscles are mesodermal in origin. Perimuscular connective tissue is coming from the neural crest. Development of these muscles is beginning at the 3rd week of gestation. So we know like all these muscles are taking their origin from common tendinous ring of Zinn, right? Okay. So this is annulus of Zinn. That is the common tendinous ring of Zinn is this. So which is oval fibrous ring at the apex of the orbit. The structures passing through this annulus are, we are finding oculomotor nerve. Okay, 3rd cranial nerve is oculomotor nerve. It has 2 divisions like superior and inferior divisions. Then 6th cranial nerve, that is abducent. So oculomotor, this is superior division, this is inferior division, this is 6th cranial, that is abducent nerve. We also have optic nerve, isn't it? So this is the 2nd cranial nerve. We have nasociliary nerve, which is one of the branches of ophthalmic division of trigeminal. We also have ophthalmic artery. So these are all the structures which are seen enclosed in the annulus of Zinn. So this is the superior orbital fissure. So when we have discussed in the orbit, actually, like the structures passing through superior orbital fissure are actually very, very important. So apart from the structures, what you see just here, you should also list out the trochlear nerve, frontal nerve, lacrimal nerve, and superior and inferior ophthalmic vein. Okay, zygomatic nerve, inferior orbital artery, and nerve. Okay, so these are the contents as you see in the form of L. Whatever contents are shown here, these are the structures passing through superior orbital fissure, which itself is a 3 marks question. Please practice these contents. Okay, if not the diagram at least. Okay. Then now let us see the origin and insertion of various muscles. So first we have levator palpebrae superioris. So levator palpebrae superioris we did when we were doing the muscles of face also. Isn't it the muscles around the orbit we have seen? So levator palpebrae superioris, origin orbital surface of the lesser wing of the sphenoid bone, anterosuperior to the optic canal. Insertion, it splits into 2 laminae. Superior lamina is voluntary, which is going to the skin of upper eyelid and anterior surface of the superior tarsal plate. Inferior lamina to the upper margin of the superior tarsus. Okay. Nerve supply of LPS, levator palpebrae superioris, upper division of oculomotor nerve. Okay, just now we have seen in this common tendinous ring of Zinn, we have seen 2 divisions, right? What are those 2 divisions we saw? This is the upper division, this is the lower division. So this levator palpebrae superioris is receiving the nerve supply from the upper division. Okay, so action, levator, that means it elevates. Palpebrae, that means lids. So superioris means upper eyelid. So in the name of the muscle itself, we have the meaning. It elevates the upper eyelid. Suppose if this muscle is paralyzed due to the damage of oculomotor nerve superior division, it leads to a condition called as ptosis, which is drooping of upper eyelid. Okay, then. Now this is the common tendinous ring of Zinn, from where the four recti have taken their origin. So superior rectus, like superior part of the common tendinous ring of Zinn. Insertion, it is inserted into the sclera like by a flat tendinous insertion about 7.7 mm behind sclerocorneal junction. Okay, then superior rectus 7, nerve supply is superior division of oculomotor nerve. Then action of superior rectus is, it is helping in the elevation, and also secondary action is adduction and intorsion of eyeball. Then inferior rectus. So inferior rectus is again coming from the inferior part of this common tendinous ring of Zinn. Insertion, see this is, I told you, cornea, and this is sclera. This is sclerocorneal junction, also called as limbus. So insertion is in the sclera 6.5 mm behind sclerocorneal junction. Okay, that is, this is the inferior rectus. Nerve supply, inferior division of oculomotor nerve. Action of this inferior rectus is, it is primary depressor, and subsidiary actions are adduction and extortion of eyeball. Then coming to medial rectus. So origin is again common tendinous ring of Zinn, annulus of Zinn, and also from the sheath which is surrounding this optic nerve. Insertion in sclera is like 5.5. See, this is sclerocorneal junction, and when you take the medial rectus is 5.5 mm behind sclerocorneal junction. Okay, then nerve supply is lower division of oculomotor nerve. Action, primary adductor of the eye. Okay, then lateral rectus. This is also coming from the common tendinous ring of Zinn. Insertion is like sclera, like from the sclerocorneal junction, if you measure, it is 6.9 mm behind sclerocorneal junction. Nerve supply is abducens nerve, which enters the muscle on the medial surface. So action is primary abductor of the eye. Okay, then see here you have all the muscles. Okay, and the distance at which they are getting inserted. You have superior rectus from the sclerocorneal junction, it is 7.7 mm. For medial rectus, it is, this is the distance from sclerocorneal junction, 5.5 mm. And now you have inferior rectus distance is 6.5 and lateral rectus is 6.9. Okay, so this complete spiral line, which is actually called as anatomical landmark when the ophthalmic surgeries are performed, this ring is actually called as the spiral of Tillot's. Okay, then so because medial rectus is inserted close to the limbus, how much it is? 5.5 mm when you compare to the other. Sclerocorneal junction is limbus, I said. So therefore it is susceptible to injury during like ophthalmic surgeries. Okay, then. So after that, like superior rectus, inferior, medial, lateral rectus we did. Then coming to the oblique muscles. So what are the various oblique muscles we have? We have superior oblique muscle and inferior oblique muscle. So superior oblique muscle is the longest and thinnest infraorbital muscle. The muscle ends before it reaches the trochlea tendon, like 2.5 centimeters smooth movement through the trochlear pulley. So the origin is body of the sphenoid bone above and medial to the optic canal, passes along superomedial part of the orbit and ends in a tendon. So insertion of superior oblique posterior-superior quadrant of sclera behind the equator of eyeball. Nerve supply, trochlear nerve, entering it approximately 1/3 of the distance from the origin of trochlea. primary action of superior oblique is intorsion. Now, subsidiary actions are abduction and depression, adducted positions, depression. Next, we have the muscle inferior oblique, which is coming from the anteromedial part of the orbital floor, lateral to the nasolacrimal groove. Insertion is posterior-inferior surface of globe near the macula. Nerve supply, inferior division of oculomotor nerve. Enters the muscle laterally at the junction of inferior oblique and inferior recti muscles. Inferior rectus action, see, primarily it helps in extorsion, and the other supporting actions are elevation and abduction. Causes elevation only in adducted position of eyeball. Okay. This picture you can use as a diagram for your exams, like where you are finding all the four like recti muscles. This is the cornea. This is sclerocorneal junction, which is limbus. This is the eyeball, where you have the like junction where you will see the insertion of four recti: superior, inferior, medial, and lateral rectus. This is the superior oblique muscle. This is the pulley, trochlear pulley, from where it is coming. And you can see it is going below superior rectus and getting inserted like below the superior rectus and lateral rectus muscle. Inferior oblique muscle is coming from the floor of the orbit and it is running below the inferior rectus, and again it is getting inserted below the superior oblique muscle. Okay. So the nerve supply of superior oblique is fourth cranial, that is SO4. Lateral rectus is LR6. Remaining all extraocular muscles, please remember they are supplied by third cranial nerve, that is oculomotor nerve. So SO4, LR6, and remaining all extraocular muscles are supplied by different divisions of oculomotor nerve. SO4, superior oblique by trochlear, fourth cranial nerve. LR6, lateral rectus by sixth cranial nerve, that is abducent. Okay. Now these are the various extraocular muscles we are finding here. Now the action of eyeballs are around the transverse axis. We have upward rotation or elevation, downward rotation or depression. Around vertical axis, we have adduction and abduction. Around antero-posterior axis, the movements are called as intorsion and extorsion. Now this picture also I would like everybody to learn. Now see here, this picture beautifully depicts the various actions of the muscles. Like when you talk about superior rectus, it brings about this direction is elevation, okay, and this direction is intorsion, and this direction is medial rotation. When you talk about medial rectus, it brings about medial rotation. When you talk about inferior rectus, it brings about medial rotation and also depression. Okay. Then when you talk about inferior oblique, it brings about elevation, which is shown in this arrow, and also it is bringing about lateral rotation. When you talk about lateral rectus, it brings about lateral rotation. When you talk about superior oblique, it brings about depression and also lateral rotation. And this movement is extorsion. So inferior rectus and superior oblique, they bring about the extorsion movement. Okay. Whereas superior rectus and inferior oblique, they bring about intorsion movements. Okay. So once we are done with the extraocular muscles, now let us try to highlight few points about ophthalmic artery. So it's better we check the artery first. See, now inside the like cranial fossa, through the carotid canal, we have internal carotid artery, which we see in the middle cranial fossa. So this internal carotid artery gives one branch which is entering into the optic canal via through the optic nerve. There is one blood vessel also taking entry inside the eyeball. The name of this blood vessel is ophthalmic artery. So this ophthalmic artery is now going, and it is actually going along this like optic nerve. This is the optic nerve coming from the eyeball. You can see this is. So the blood vessel which is going inside the optic nerve, you call it as central artery of retina. So apart from that, the other branches what we see are, this is the lacrimal artery. Okay. And then we have the other branches which are moving Medially are, you have like branches towards the ethmoid bone, anterior ethmoidal, posterior ethmoidal. We have dorsal nasal, supraorbital and supratrochlear branches, which we have also seen when we were doing scalp. So supraorbital, supratrochlear branches are the branches of ophthalmic artery, which in turn is a branch of internal carotid artery. Then the other branches I said we have is the lacrimal artery, also recurrent meningeal artery, which is actually anastomosing with the middle meningeal artery. The lacrimal artery is giving further branches like zygomaticofacial and zygomaticotemporal. We have, these are the branches of the lacrimal artery going to the lacrimal gland. Apart from this, you are finding from the medial subdivision, you are finding like posterior ciliary artery and also the anterior ciliary artery. Okay, so these are the various branches which are coming from ophthalmic artery. Basically, I want everyone to practice this diagram in order to understand ophthalmic artery. Okay, the text things are here, like the ophthalmic artery is a branch of cerebral part of internal carotid artery. The artery enters the orbit through optic canal. In the orbit, the artery pierces the dura mater, ascends over the lateral side of the optic nerve and crosses above the nerve from lateral to medial side. Then it terminates near the medial angle of the eye by dividing into supratrochlear and dorsal nasal branches. Okay. So this is the supratrochlear branch and this is dorsal nasal branch. Now the ophthalmic artery gives central artery of retina and large lacrimal artery. Let us see. This is the central artery of retina and this is the large lacrimal artery, isn't it? Then the central artery of retina is an end artery. The difficulty with end arteries is, end artery in the sense this artery is not having anastomosis with adjacent arteries. The unfortunate thing about this end arteries are basically if this artery is blocked, the retina will lose its blood supply and the person will suffer with blindness. Okay, loss of vision because of the blockage of central artery of retina, because it has no anastomosing arteries. It's an end artery. The branches arising from lacrimal artery, we have seen the various branches. What are those? We have seen zygomaticofacial, zygomaticotemporal, recurrent meningeal branches, right? So branches coming from the lacrimal, they go and give to the lacrimal gland, two zygomatic branches, lateral palpebral branch, recurrent meningeal branch and muscular branches. The branches arising from the main trunk. Let us see, this is the main trunk of ophthalmic artery. From the main trunk, we have this posterior and anterior ciliary arteries. Okay, arising from the main trunk, we have the posterior long and short ciliary arteries. We have supraorbital artery, anterior and posterior ethmoidal branches, medial palpebral branch, dorsal nasal and supratrochlear branches. Okay, so all these are the arteries which are coming as a branches from the ophthalmic artery. Okay. So let us see few more pictures like extraocular muscles. We know they are all supplied from the branches of ophthalmic artery. So you can see lateral muscular branch, medial muscular branch. Okay. Then now coming to the venous drainage. So like we have like superior orbital vein, superior ophthalmic vein, anterior ciliary vein, inferior orbital vein, inferior ophthalmic vein. All these veins are actually draining into cavernous sinus, isn't it? So we have seen in yesterday's lecture itself what are the draining channels of this cavernous sinus. Incoming channels are ophthalmic veins, isn't it? Then let's see, secondary perimuscular infections following extraocular muscular trauma, they can spread the infection to cavernous sinus. Yesterday also we did this. So cavernous vascular disease can present as ophthalmoplegia, paralysis of extraocular muscles and proptosis. That means drooping of the eyeball, eyelids. Okay, this also we did in fact. Coming to the applied anatomy, things are, we have paralysis of lateral rectus is due to damage to the abducent nerve. We know LR6, right? So lateral rectus muscle, if it is paralyzed due to the damage of abducent nerve, it leads to medial squint. Okay. Then damage to oculomotor nerve. We know oculomotor nerve supplies all extraocular muscles except SO4 LR6. So hence it leads to paralysis of all extraocular muscles except superior oblique and lateral rectus. Hence it leads to lateral squint and also ptosis. Ptosis is the drooping of upper eyelid. Then damage to trochlear nerve can cause paralysis of superior oblique muscle causing diplopia, that is double vision while looking downwards. So that's all about extraocular muscles and also the ophthalmic artery. Study well. It can be an essay question as well. Extraocular muscles is an essay question and ophthalmic artery is a short note for 5 marks. Wishing you all the best. Thank you.